Hey friends, welcome to Andy's Audio Crap, where we talk about audio goodness and all of its crappiness. Some of it's crap, most of it's good stuff. Today we have two good stuffs with us. We have a Kenwood KR-6050 and a Marantz 2230. Now this is a video part two of can we find something comparable to the Marantz for a lot less than the Marantz. Price of these dudes getting ridiculous. All right, let's dive in. I am Marantz. I am Kenwood. I will eat you. No, you won't. Ah! Hey, if you've already watched one of these videos, just go ahead and skip to like 7 minutes. I'm just gonna use the same reel as before for the Marantz. Good stuff. Hopefully you're already familiar with Marantz. They have a long legacy of creating some of the most sought after, most desirable receivers and amplifiers. This in particular is a 2230. The 2230, they sold, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of these, but they used to be a dime a dozen. You could go out on any alley and find 2 or 3 of them. I'm being a little sarcastic, but 10 years ago, these were next to worthless. Now, these are just going through the roof. So why? Well, they sound absolutely killer good. In my pursuit to find something that can substitute in for this, I'm going to be looking at several different categories. This is my receiver stereo amp score sheet, and every amp that I compare to the Marantz is going to get a score sheet. The Marantz got a score sheet, and what we're going to look at on the score sheet is listening crap, input output rating crap, and value add crap. Now, let's go through the Marantz in particular. I gotta find it. There's a lot of them. I compared a lot of amps here, receivers. Top to bottom, this amplifier, as this one sits right now, would probably sell for $800 to $1,200 on eBay, depending on the day, depending on the buyer. It's Christmas time. God knows it's just gonna go crazy. So that classic 70s sound is what you're gonna get with one of these. You look at the controls, you only have a very limited amount of controls on this thing. You have a receiver, you have tone controls, which is low, medium, high, bass, mid, treble. You have phono in, aux in, and a couple of cassettes, I think. No, one cassette, and that's it. You got a pre-out main in, things like that. It's really super basic, but it sounds absolutely phenomenal. And the looks, you can't deny it. The looks are great. Now, on the listening crap, because this is our benchmark, and we want to be able to distinguish between this and other receivers that I'm going to review, it gets 5s all the way down. Total score 25. We're going to score inputs, 10 each, and we're only looking at aux, CD, and phono. If it can do 4 ohms, it gets 20 points. Non-surround sound speaker outputs. So we're going to be doing some stereos that have surround sound. I just don't even care about the other outputs, only the main outs. Left-right channel leakage. This one's a little bit of an odd duck, but it's pretty easy to test. You unplug one channel from the input, unplug the speaker from the opposite, and or no, you plug in, oh no, wait, I got that wrong. You unplug one of the inputs, unplug the same speaker, no, the other one. Anyways, it's some mix of that, and if you can hear audio coming through, there's leakage. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the Marantz at a -10, which is the middle. Separation and stage, kind of a byproduct of a lot of things: dynamic range, leakage, just general ability of the stereo to replicate stereo sound. We're gonna again put Marantz right in the middle. It's gonna be a 10. So Marantz got a total input output or input total output thing. This Krapp score right here, it's got a 60. And then the value add Krapp is stuff like serviceability, which this one, we're gonna put it at the max. We're gonna say this is the max of serviceability. Everything from there on out is just going downhill, right? If you can match the serviceability of this, actually, just gonna use my own experience here, this thing is ridiculously serviceable. Build quality, we're gonna put this right in the middle. We're gonna say this is middle tier, and you're gonna see on some of these amps that they just went to the hilt to outdo themselves on things that you'll never ever see unless you're working on them. And then value, price. Now, the Marantz is gonna be lower on this scale, right? It's very expensive for what it is, for how many watts you're getting, and well, you'll see as you watch these videos, you'll see the faceplate option and just general attractiveness. Marantz, I put it at a 40 on both. There are better ones out there, and I'm looking at one of them right now. Hopefully you subscribe, because this is going to be a series. I don't know how long it's going to go on. I just keep finding stuff and buying it to review against the Marantz, and I found a couple so far that absolutely, it's debatable. I'm gonna really upset some Marantz fanboys. All right, let's look at what we're comparing to in this video. This, my friends, is the Kenwood KR-6050, as I had stated in the intro. But overall, this is a pretty cool little get up here. The price that I paid for this was, well, it was really cheap because it wasn't working, and then I got it working. But overall, I think invested in it, I'm somewhere around $200. But you can go and find these all day long working for about $350, $400. So not overly expensive, definitely not as much as the Marantz. But the real question is, like, how did it sound in relation to the Marantz? So what I did is I'll play the Marantz, then I'll play this one, and then I'll stop my alarm, and then I'll play the Marantz again, and then I'll play this one on 5 songs: Rocket Man, Mama Said, Take 5, Enter Sandman, Guitars and Cadillacs. And the Marantz got 5s all the way through. Just, it's my anchor. It's what I'm judging everything against. So if something sounds better than the Marantz, I'm going to give it a higher score. If it sounds not as good as the Marantz, I'll give it a lower score. Now on this one in particular, Mama Said, which is a Pacifier, Maynard Keenan, I think is his name. Anyways, the Tool and Perfect Circle, that guy. It's really hard to get that song right. And the Marantz does an absolutely beautiful job at it. It's going to be really hard for one of these stereos that I'm reviewing to actually beat the Marantz. So this one it got a 3. And so it did do better on Guitars and Cadillacs because it has a little bit of a brighter sound to it. And that brighter sound, oh, by the way, all of the controls on both receivers are set to neutral, right? I don't want any adjustment. I'm not fine tuning these in. I'm just listening to them flat. Anyway, so it has a more lively sound because of its chippier, cheerier upper end. So I found it, I would describe it as very linear, whereas the Marantz would be almost like it by default has the loudness on. All right. So as far as the other features like the inputs and outputs and the 4 ohms, the Marantz in it are equal, right? The left and right channel leakage on this one is less than the Marantz, like significantly less. And due to the age of these, there's going to be leakage, but as we get into some of the newer stereos, receivers, and other units in general, we're going to find that it doesn't really matter the age. Stereos just have leakage. It's just the way that they're produced. Now, when you start to get to the upper end, we're going to start to see a lot less of that. And the separation in stage is a byproduct of that leakage. So this Kenwood does have better separation in stage than the Marantz when you get to listening volume, when you get up there. And what I like to do is I like to turn my volume to half, okay? This sets it half. The preamp coming in is my control. All right, so this thing it's running pretty warm. The Marantz is too, and that way I can get a really good feel for the performance and at optimal operating temp and everything else. So you get the idea. That's the way I usually tell people to run their amps, unless they have better ideas, which it's just kind of to each their own type of thing. There is so many different ways that you can do this. Anyways, so the value add Krapp, it did really excellent on. It actually matched the Marantz pretty much, but price to value, this is about half the price of the Marantz. So price to value is you're getting almost a Marantz for half the price. Now, I think there's probably going to be people that'll say, hey, I've heard of Kenwood and la. And that's fine. You probably have. I'm not going to doubt you. I'm not going to argue with you. But I will say that just sitting here listening to these on extremely revealing speakers, right? I'm listening to these, all of them on La Scalas. La Scalas are really hard to get bass out of, but they have a really, really high top end. Like it's very easy to become too bright with those speakers. And these so far have done really, really well. And this one, in comparison to the Marantz on those speakers in my space, which is the treated space, sound treatment, it sounds really, really close. Like Take 5, I had to sit there and I got to the point where I was A-B in them, and they sounded exactly the same. Now, I don't know exactly how it's going to sound in the clips that are after this, but I would encourage you to listen for the low and high, because that's where you're going to tell the difference. Because Take 5, there's not a lot of really high, really low in Take 5. So I think in the mid-range, the two are very similar, and where they start to depart is like in Guitars and Cadillacs. This one's a lot brighter, but when it comes to Mama Said, the bass and the punches that come in that song, this just didn't pull it off as well as the Marantz. Okay, now we're gonna roll into some graphs, okay? And on the graph, what you're going to see is that as far as the music, the listening crap, they're both close. I do feel like the Kenwood is less than the Marantz as far as listening experience on the song variety that I've picked here. When it comes to the inputs, outputs, and rating crap, the Kenwood did better. It just flat did better. And that's because of the left-right channel leakage. Again, both of these have been serviced, and it's just really, I think it's just down to the design, really. And when it comes to the serviceability, you see that the price value is really the item that pushes the Kenwood ahead of the Marantz. Overall score, the Kenwood is a better value than the Marantz, in my opinion. Now, if money's not a deal, right? If money's not an obstacle, then certainly go ahead and buy the Marantz, because it does have the Marantz sound, and that's really what we're trying to find an imitation of. This is close. This is pretty close. But again, it's different enough that you can tell If you had both of these side by side and you were playing guitars and Cadillacs, you would definitely feel like this one had more, the Kenwood had more of a live sound to it. Just because that upper end is just so much more pronounced in this unit. That is about it. You'll see on the value, the Andy thing that I have on the screen, you're getting about the same value as far as the score I gave it. It's arbitrary score. It's just a crap score, and then it's just dead even. I don't even know what to say really, because I'm just at a loss for words to describe. They're two different personalities, but they're so similar, and that's really the way to put it. Now, I hope you enjoy the listening that comes after this. Please do like, subscribe, and have a very good day. Please put in the comments any amps that you would like me to review against the Marantz. No boutiques. I don't do boutiques. It's got to be something that you could have walked in any stereo shop in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s, picked one up and walked out the door with it without having to order it. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.